I spent 2 nights in the middle of the night. I don't know when, but I had this interesting experience which I want to talk about. I felt I was awake, but in the bed, and I had this conversation with what I think is Enoh, is the master, the sixth patriarch, and I've been reading his book, that short book, but about Samadhi, and there's lots of interesting stuff about Samadhi. Anyway, in this state of mind where I was clear in my mind and I thought I was awake but could have been half asleep, I had this conversation. I was meeting him, could be Buddha, it doesn't matter. It's just some unexplainable entity that I had the conversation. And the conversation is very smooth, quiet, but it's very difficult if I try to remember how the conversation went. So it's just a capturing of the essence, but it was like a dialogue talking to Buddha or my heart or Absolute about the state of being. And let me first go back, talk about the background, because it may have something to do with this discussion. I'm back here in Santa Monica, but I have had this relationship with this lady for maybe 12 years or something. And, we decided to split up 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because of the COVID and whatever. But I'm here to sort of clean up and move out. So for the next 1 week, she's been gone for her own trip up north, California, but I'm alone. And after that, she had some knee surgery, and around that time I'll be gone, or something of that nature. The future is unknown, so this has been this unknown situation of what is to happen, but it's very clear that it's best to be split up. So that's a background. And I'm dealing with the situation fairly calmly. What is unacceptable to be acceptable is the nature of Zen. To live, it doesn't have to be called Zen, it doesn't matter. It's just the way that we find the every step of the way moving forward, making the right decision. And the life is like that. No need to go beyond necessary so that you focus on the now, with Samadhi being in the calm and quiet mind state, and move on. So as much as I talk a lot on the YouTube, the essence of life is captured in such a manner that I explain, and there's almost no need to talk anything more, except to confirm the step I just mentioned, step at a time, making the right decision, Samadhi as a good way to have a state of mind to do that. And so far as you have a state of mind that is calm and quiet all the time, then you're living, in my view, the best of your life to live, making the right judgment, and have a calmer mind state. And the calmer mind state would bring out the right judgment so that there's nothing more. Except that, as I mentioned, the mind has certain program developed over time, and that kicked in. So you have to deal with it in the manner that I explained, to be calm and quiet. And if you cannot deal with it, then you get into this monkey mind. It could go there, but the whole point of my process is like I just mentioned. So have a peaceful mind state, moving one step at a time, making the right judgment, whatever comes, whether it's the relationship, whether it's the health issue, whether it's the business issue, money issue, whatever that is. So simple. And yet it helps me, and possibly others, that if I can explain when I go through life with this setting, using the YouTube, to keep confirming this process, because the internal situation of my being changes because of a new awareness of learning. Life is to be lived in the moment, so I want to keep on top of, keep myself to flow with the process in the right way, and just that. So let me go talk about the experience I had. It was so clear in my mind, it's not like a dream, but I was just engaged in the conversation, and it went like dialogue. It's funny, I just thought about AI because I do dialogue with AI, which helps me, but that's related, but not the main part of this discussion. But the dialogue, to be open, sincere, truthful, and communicate is a good thing, because of this mind-heart relationship I often talk about. Because mind goes away to some dimension, and you need to be connected. And if you don't have a connection, you can get lost easily. May not be easily, but they can. So you want to hold it as if you are hold it. It's not the right way. You want to be at the state of being that you can be peaceful, sincere, truthful, and making a right decision. Simple. So the encounter, how it happened, I had no idea. But probably something like this happened, that he or whoever this entity asked the question. For example, how are you doing? Are you aware? And I have been totally comfortable, peaceful, calm state while this conversation went on. And I may have said, I'm fine. And after that, I don't know how to explain it. But there's a connection, as if the mind connecting to the heart. That's my expression. But in this case, me talking with this person, maybe due to the fact that I was studying a bit about Samadhi and Hui-neng or Enoh, this person, the Zen monk. So it appears that was the continuation that I brought in to set up this dialogue. So it was comfortable state, and this bed I'm sleeping on is so comfortable as if you're not sleeping on any bed, and the talk was quiet and went on for whatever minutes, I have no idea. But checking few angles perhaps to see I'm well connected to be at the state. So there's the word Nehan Jyakujyo in Japanese. Nehan is nirvana. Jyakujyo is quietness, deep quietness. That's the state that, in one word, to explain my state of being in that setting. But having a setting to be and have this, whoever that I had a dialogue, at peace, with a little inquiry here and there, but without any disturbance to go with the flow, so to speak, in the state of Samadhi. That to confirm, because when you're in the state of Samadhi, it's that Nehan Jyakujyo, in Nirvanic state and calm state, it's an absolute state that mind doesn't go any direction as it could, but stay. So it's like, I don't know what could be the good experience, examples, but the one thought that popped up is that when you do the Zen and meet with Roshi, you have this conversation. It's kind of like that. Or it could be like the state of just be. Be one with the universe. Be one with the now. And you are facing with something to confirm or someone to confirm. So in that sense, there's me and the person I'm talking to, but I feel like I'm reading an email. And the sense I had was, as I read email, my mind just stayed calm. To confirm, affirm the state of me being, again, like in this Nirvanic state of quietness, peace. So I guess that could be the best I could explain. And in my view, that may have lasted forever minutes, but the time didn't matter. And it was so long or so short, there's no thinking dimension like that. And I wasn't sure if I was asleep or awake. I knew I was awake, but I may have been asleep. So as I start to realize where I am, I'm on this bed, uncomfortable, and I start to think back, oh, that was so nice. So I try to capture before I lose it, so that all the sentences I had read or read from what I thought was like a mail or something, and again, there's that state that superimposed that it's like a reading, but it's also like dialogue. It's also like dialogue to myself, but everything got resolved, and I was in a nirvanic state of total peace. But when I realized that that was not something I can reproduce, because now I start to be awake in the sense of it. Okay, what was it? And I knew that I was present. So I wanted to capture all the conversation I had, and I couldn't. So hold on to something that I can relate to for the purpose of, I don't know, memorizing or capturing or not losing that state. I try to grab anything that I can reproduce or keep in mind as important experience. That's when I realized that the stuff I've been reading in Samadhi or talking about it and going through this relationship and going with the flow of how to process it without any unnecessary emotional hang-up or whatever. But there is unknown path to go. And that path, is not something you can expect because you don't know what the path is, where to live, how to live. As much as in my life I have been traveling, like after the COVID, Japan, New Zealand, and Santa Monica or Hawaii. I've been floating around every 3 months or so, whatever the reason that happened, but that became the way. And now I have Santa Monica, whether I would leave or have some connection in future. There's some reason related to my past 40 years or so lived in this area. And my previous wife, my ex-wife, and the son situation here. So there may be there has to be some resolution that I'm going to have to make in the next couple of months. And then, of course, relate to the future. But bottom line of what I have pictured my life is not to think much ahead, because I may change. Me changing means physically or mentally, not in a extraordinary manner, but whatever happens, my attitude too, which I hope will be very based upon this Samadhi as the principle and bringing out the wisdom and compassion, but still, make a decision as we live. So I'm really in the right place to, whatever happens, make a right choice based upon Samadhi. And I guess I'm just confirming that state, and that's the end of it, and the process of it. Process is the result. And the result is to come with the right decision, or whatever decision I make, and deal with it. So, if there's anyone listening, my video may not mean anything, because if that's what I just said is the ultimate state, of the state of my being, then what is left is like how do you call it? The shells left behind, and me is moving on, because me as an entity is just like that emptiness. And nobody wants to hear about the emptiness because you cannot grab it. But still, I have this me entity floating, living in life, and it has possibly ups and downs that relate to that, and I may have to make a right decision. So that's remained to be the case while I live, and that might be the theme of what I'm doing in the video on YouTube, to make sure that I'm walking my life step at a time with that Nehan Jyakujyo, the Nirvanic state of quietness as the core. And yeah, if that is maintained, and to confirm whatever happens, someone listening may have some sense related to whatever he or she may go through, using me as a reference, and from my point of view, YouTube as my mirror to be sincere, honest, and see if I'm making the right decision with certain principle of Samadhi practice. And if I'm not in a calm and quiet state of making wrong decision, and I'm human, so I make wrong decision. I have, by the way, NVIDIA stock, and I don't check my investment, but I feel like I'm losing a chunk of money in the last few days, because I watch on the news what's going on. So that affects me a little bit. But that also is the case, taking this opportunity. Life is unknown. How you deal with it? Just to say a few words about the investment, I have a fair chunk of money, and I don't want to be dealt with it anymore. I have decided to give away 95%, maybe more, to be Vipassana, because I got this benefit of awakening and all that thing to go with it. So I'm gonna be not to be bothered, but bothered to the sense that I don't want it to be devalued by me making a wrong judgment. So that's part of the thing. And therefore the investment relationship, where to live and what to do. As a human, as me, individual, is a case that is real. It may not sound real because it's kind of like a fake. The truth is at the core of Nehan Jyakujyo, calm, quiet space, Nirvanic, if you want to call that. And yet, being human, looking at the world and the society and what's going on, I want to be engaged in it in some way or the other. And this is the platform to do that to a degree, among other things I do. So anyway, that's just it turned out to be long talking of whatever happened this morning. But that's it. Thank you.